What kind of civilization carves its identity into a mountain and then disappears? Imagine approaching a narrow canyon of towering red stone, walking through shadow and silence, and suddenly facing a monumental facade cut directly into the rock itself. Columns, pediments, symmetry. Not built, but revealed. Petra feels less constructed than uncovered, as if the mountain always contained a city waiting to emerge. Who imagined this? Who had the patience, precision, and confidence to carve architecture that would outlive them by 2,000 years? Petra was not created by accident, nor by fantasy. It was the capital of the Nabataeans, an Arab people who rose to power by mastering something far less visible than stone: trade and water. While empires like Rome expanded through military force, the Nabataeans built influence by controlling the arteries of commerce that connected Arabia, the Mediterranean, and the Near East. Frankincense, myrrh, spices, textiles, goods that shaped ritual, medicine, and wealth passed through their hands. Petra became the secure heart of that network. Its location was strategic. Hidden within rugged sandstone mountains in what is now southern Jordan, Petra was naturally fortified. The narrow entrance passage, known as the Siq, created both protection and psychological theater. Visitors did not simply arrive, they were revealed to the city. The famous facade, often called Al-Kesne, or the Treasury, greets them not as a random monument, but as a deliberate statement of power and sophistication. Its classical elements reflect Hellenistic influence, evidence of cultural exchange across the Eastern Mediterranean. Yet this is not Greek architecture transplanted. It is Nabataean architecture adapted, carved, not assembled. But Petra's true genius lies not in its facades, it lies in its invisible systems. This was a city built in a desert environment where survival required precision. The Nabataeans engineered complex water management systems, channels carved into rock faces, terracotta pipes, covered conduits, dams, reservoirs, and cisterns. They captured seasonal rains and flash floods, controlling and storing water in ways that supported a large urban population. Without this hydraulic mastery, Petra would have been impossible. Archaeological evidence shows that Petra flourished, particularly between the 1st century BCE and the 1st century CE. Tombs carved into cliff sides reflect both wealth and belief. Unlike freestanding mausoleums, these tombs integrate with the landscape, suggesting a worldview that merged human ambition with geological permanence. The city also included temples, markets, residential areas, and a theater carved directly into stone, again reinforcing the Nabataean preference for sculpting space rather than building upward. In 106 CE, Petra was annexed into the Roman Empire under Emperor Trajan. Rather than immediate destruction, the city continued to function. Roman roads were extended, architectural styles blended further. Petra adapted, as it always had. But trade patterns shift with geopolitics. As maritime routes expanded through the Red Sea, overland caravan networks declined. The Nabataean strategic advantage weakened. Economic gravity moved elsewhere. Natural forces also intervened. Earthquakes struck the region multiple times, including significant events in the 4th and 6th centuries. Infrastructure suffered. Water systems required constant maintenance. A city dependent on hydraulic precision cannot survive neglect. Gradually, Petra diminished. It did not collapse in a single dramatic moment. It faded, its population shrinking, its monuments enduring without purpose. By the medieval period, Petra was largely unknown to the Western world, though local Bedouin communities remained aware of its existence. In 1812, Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, traveling in disguise and speaking Arabic, reintroduced Petra to European audiences. His account did not invent Petra, it revealed it to a new intellectual sphere. From that point onward, Petra became a symbol of lost cities, of desert mystery, of civilizations misunderstood. Yet Petra is not a lost Atlantis, it is not a myth. It is a case study in adaptation and vulnerability. It demonstrates how trade networks create power and how shifts in global systems can render even monumental capitals peripheral. It reveals how environmental engineering determines survival, and it shows how architecture can be both spectacle and strategy. What remains today are facades, tombs, stairways, and fragments. The sandstone glows red, pink, and gold depending on the hour, but beneath that beauty lies a quieter lesson. Petra was not built to be romantic, it was built to function. Its carvings were declarations of identity in stone, signaling permanence in a world defined by movement and exchange. Civilizations often measure themselves by what they build above ground: towers, walls, monuments. Petra carved itself inward. It subtracted rather than added. It removed stone to create space. There is something conceptually profound in that act: creation through removal, visibility through excavation. Petra forces us to reconsider what endurance means. The Nabataean political system vanished. Their language evolved and dispersed. Their trade networks dissolved. Yet the city remains, not fully alive, not entirely dead. It stands as geological memory shaped by human intention. Perhaps the real question is not how Petra was built. The question is why it still speaks. 2,000 years later, people walk through the sick and feel something difficult to articulate. It is not simply admiration, it is recognition that human intelligence once transformed scarcity into advantage, isolation into power, and rock into architecture. Petra reminds us that civilizations are not destroyed only by invasion, they are reshaped by economics, environment, and time. Stone survives, systems do not. And in that contrast lies a humbling truth. Permanence belongs to no empires, but to the landscapes they briefly occupy. The city carved into stone did not disappear. It outlasted its own purpose, and perhaps that is the most enduring monument of all.